We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. It is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Today is demonstrative speech topic selection. What all of you should be doing right now is to, whether you decide to give your presentation on Wednesday or on Thursday, practice with doing things like this, where you would like for your PowerPoint or your Canva or your Google Slides, where you want your webcam to be, and then start to practice, check with the time, get everything set up in such a way that when you are putting together those recording practice sessions, you feel comfortable. Trying to create a persona that is likable and confident on camera. I had a couple of questions on Loom yesterday regarding how you are to record these. Like me, all of you are going to be recording by yourself in front of a webcam. In my case, my visuals are internet based. Your visuals are going to be from Canva, from Google Slides. If you want to utilize PowerPoint, that's certainly appropriate. Whether or not you use Loom like me or another technology is totally up to you. But always remember that if you're going tomorrow or if you are going on Thursday, that you take your headphones and plug them into your computer so we don't get double audio. You may have noticed when you were watching yesterday's video that for the three examples that I had provided from the last three summer sessions that I've taught this course, there was an issue with barely being able to hear the video. That was an anomaly on my computer. So to make up for it, I'm going to play three more examples, not all from the summer, but to give you a flavor or a feel of what speaking for 5 or 6 or 7 minutes when you're demonstrating a process looks like. But I put this up on the screen intentionally for a reason. Whether you are giving me your speech Wednesday or whether you're sending it along on Thursday, you can go to either my campus email address, jereppert at saumag.edu, or my alternate email, and I showed that to you yesterday, profjamesreppertsau at yahoo.com. Now, how is this going to work? You're going to take your video or you are going to take a link to your video and send it to either one of these email addresses. So when I record on Wednesday, which will probably be after 2 p.m., or on Thursday, probably also after 2 p.m., at those times, I will go to any of my tabs up on the screen, let everyone see you, and then put it into a full screen, possibly checking later on the transcript for complete sentence structure or closed captioning. So again, you're not recording in front of an audience. You're recording as we are right here to yourself on camera. But if you make a mistake, as I've said so often, you're going to learn from that. No matter what you do in life, whenever you're recording all different kinds of educational activities, you can learn from watching takes of videos that maybe no one else will see. The vocalics, the ers, the ahs, the ums, the uhs, any issues that you may have with grammar, gonna, wanna, kinda, like, you know, I mean, all of those things can be fleshed out when you are critically, but not in a negative way. When you're critically analyzing your performance, because what people are going to see in this class is the video that you think best represents that particular week's assignment. So for a demonstrative speech, as you're going to see with three examples today, how do those individuals in a 5 or 6 or 7 minute time span encapsulate all of their materials? Even though it's virtually impossible to hear the audio from yesterday, whether it was DIY slime or a couple of the others that I showed you that were either cooking or crafting, you'll notice that the people were very creative in utilizing not only visuals or font styles or font colors or images or video, but they did it in such a way that they were telling the story. And that's what you're going to be doing also. Again, either my SAU email address or to my Yahoo address. But please make certain whether you decide to go tomorrow, and I'm guessing we'll probably, with the number of people in this class, have fewer people shown on Wednesday afternoon than on Thursday afternoon. But whatever works best for you is certainly appropriate. And also, let me show you something here. Whether it is our first or second or third or fourth presentation, it's always a good idea to go back and watch little bits and pieces. So let me show you a little bit of yesterday, primarily because even though the three speeches that I showed, you can't hear the audio, I wanted to give you an opportunity in real time to examine what they're doing. So little snippets. So let me click here, just like you would do in the student preview mode. And I'm clicking on this in real time. I don't have it ready in advance. So I'm ready and waiting for that visual to come up on the screen with the video. And that's why you're seeing me a little bit longer than usual. Waiting for it to format. And once it formats, I'm going to put on the transcript. Still waiting for it to come on screen, but I will show it to you right now. This is what yesterday's class session looked like. Let me go ahead and play it. We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. This is Demonstrative Speech Week. It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. I'm starting. Watch what I do here. I'm going to scroll through and just show you bits and pieces from each of those DIY slime presentations yesterday. This particular presentation on DIY slime has been around where there was an audio issue. This was how to make DIY slime. I'm just going to show you a few seconds once Emma begins, and then I'll show you a little bit of the second speech, a little bit of the third speech, and then we will move on to additional research for today, which, as you know, is demonstrative speech topic selection before we get to day one tomorrow. I'll go full screen. As I was mentioning with Emma's presentation on yesterday's video, and I intentionally have this muted, she forgot to take her webcam and turn it around so you're getting a mirror image. This was from last year, from summer of 2024. So that's one of the three speeches that I showed you yesterday. And now we're going to move on to the second speech. This is Abriana, how to apply acrylic nails. And I'll wait until this goes full screen as well. All of these, by the way, gang, are on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to put these up on the screen one more time just to show you the creativity that each of these individuals provides. If you want to, in any slide format that you want to utilize, have different types of special effects as Abriana has here, that's certainly acceptable, because as we go on, you'll notice, and we'll play it for a few more seconds, some of the materials that you're going to be using to create all of these special effects. And there really is a magic to how you put that together. And then we had our third presentation yesterday from a young lady named Honori, and this was on a cooking related topic. And I'll go ahead and let that play. She decided to put her visual in the upper right hand corner, very similar to what you just saw with Abriana for acrylic nails. You can learn a lot from keeping the audio down. What is their persona on camera? Where is their face? What did they decide to utilize for their font style? Because the more verbiage that you use on your font, chances are, or text, you're not going to be as extemporaneous as everyone else. Now let's go to roughly about the last minute of yesterday's class. Bring the audio up. So if you want to go on Wednesday, that's fine. If you want to go on Thursday, that's okay too. But make certain that I get your work. Pause for effect. By 2 p.m. each Wednesday or Thursday. I look forward to working with you again this week as we resume tomorrow with session 5, which is demonstrative speech topic selection. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session of 2025, that concludes the recording session for today. So now I'm going to pause it and come back to where we began. And you'll see me on screen one more time. I'll clear my throat first. And by the way, things like that happen. If you're giving a presentation, you think it's going very well, and all of a sudden you feel like you need to clear your throat a little, that's fine. Just continue to record, and then if you've got 3 or 4 takes and that's the one that you like, go ahead and utilize it. There's no such thing as perfection, even though we're going to strive for it each week. So in all of your cases, now let's go to the course speech schedule. Make it slightly bigger. And in all of your cases, remember what I say at the bottom, quote, speech videos or links to videos are sent no later than 2 p.m. each Wednesday or Thursday to either my SAU email address, highlighted, or my alternate Yahoo address, also highlighted. Please keep me appraised regularly so I can assist during your speech preparation. Don't get really hung up on the fact that all of your presentations are going to be shown for posterity and recorded during class. That's how you learn. You're going to be so much more proficient in the long run, knowing what you look like, knowing what you sound like, how to flatter yourself in such a way, and I showed this to you last week, even with something such as a ring light, or where you position yourself in a particular classroom or in a dorm room where it's going to look really nice behind you. When you take a look at that acrylic nail speech, one of the things that you notice that Abriana did, she put a little blurring effect behind her, which you can do on the Loom platform. Let me show you what Loom looks like in case you forgot. I always have a number of tabs open. Let me show you as of right now what my Loom library looks like. As a media person, that I always believe content is king. So you can see as I scroll down in my library, there is the Monday class session, Friday of last week, Thursday of last week, and then Wednesday of last week. And then you can see some of the videos that I recorded at this time last year. If I make any boo-boos or any types of mistakes, I can always go in and delete them. But I just want you to feel as comfortable as possible as we return one more time to the student preview mode on Blackboard. Let me get a little bit higher here. You'll also notice under instructor information that I have not only my SAU business card, but I also have a link to the SAU Mass Communication website. When you go to that website and scroll all the way down, you're going to find the speech area. And let me show that to you right now. When you click on that link, eventually you are going to wind up here. There are all different types of outlines that you can examine, which open in different windows. The application of eye makeup or cheesecake or doing recycling, all of these open in separate windows, or glucose, where you can check how an individual at that time, primarily during the summer, was putting together their storytelling structure for a demonstrative presentation. But now, if I go to a slightly different location with all of these links, this is what I see and what I want to show you right now. With today being in the course itinerary for June 3, demonstrative speech topic selection, this is the location on Google Drive where I save all of my files and upload them to the website. So when you see that SAU Mass Communication website, this is how I originally see my documents. Whether it's the application of eye makeup, these are all demonstrative speech outlines, as you can see. But now let's scroll down. There's cheesecake, the recycling, the blood glucose, chicken spaghetti, filling in scarce browse, grandma's banana pudding. All of these will open, in this case, right here in the window. Making pasta like a pro, making dream catchers, cooking, crafting, plants, how to make something called sadza. If I wanted to look at this, all I'd have to do is click on it. This was from an international student 10 years ago. This is how she put together her outline. And by the way, Sadza, S-A-D-Z-A, the way that the young lady Shamiso described it 10 years ago in this class, she said that Sadza very much is like grits. This is her storytelling structure. She also includes a video clip on how it's made. But as you can see, if you're a fan of sadza, it looks very much from a distance either like mashed potatoes or it looks like grits. So if I wanted to click on this link, it would open in a separate window and it would show you how the process of cooking the sadza is done. But if I continue to scroll down, we see scuba gear, we see singing in a choir, stringing a tennis racket, lei making, yo-yo, and then all of a sudden here, you can see that on my website, I have taken demonstrative speech audio for students who did not have webcams, primarily during the pandemic, or demonstrative speech video presentations. And all of these open right here. So if I wanted to show you, and you could actually hear it, DIY slime, here's a little bit of that. on a different platform, not YouTube.
Hi, my name is Emma Johnson, and today I'm going to show you how to make DIY slime at home. So the first things you'll need is you'll need glue. You'll need just some type of like school glue. I highly recommend using Elmer's glue. It is typically used when making slime at home. You can use clear glue, but
I'll go ahead and mute Emma's audio. The bottom line here is that on my YouTube channel or on my website, when you scroll all the way down to public speaking, there are tons of different outlines or audio or video materials that you can examine. For instance, this is a familiar face. I showed her to you last week. This is from my website, and it's not
Good
from
afternoon,
YouTube.
everyone. My name is Essence Thomas, and today I will be teaching you all how to create a glass music frame souvenir. Let's jump right into it. And the pictures you see at the top are examples of what a glass music frame souvenir is and what it would look like by the end of this video. So many ask, what is a glass music frame souvenir? A glass
Both of these young ladies, whether it's DIY slime or the glass music frame souvenir from summer 2021 or Emma from last year, extremely professional. I'm also showing you down here other types of presentations. This one is from the second summer session of 1994, which shows that I save everything.
Good afternoon. My name is Andre Muljadi, and today I'm going to show to you about the new program. It's called Lotus Freelance, and this program is designed to help uh, especially business people to demonstrate their presentation. And this program is, as you maybe know, that today in the competitive world, that a lot of company has used any media.
What you'll notice from Andre, we've stayed in contact through all the years, but what I really appreciate about his presentation is that whether it is 1994 or whether it's 2025, that technology is an important part of public speaking. So in your case, in 2025, utilizing the technology that's available from Loom is going to make you that much more effective. In July of 1994, whenever I taught this class, I'm utilizing technology with my camcorder, and he's utilizing technology with his computer and taking the computer and plugging it into a television set so people have access to at least interactivity before the internet became available on the SAU campus. Video, audio, outlines for demonstrating. This goes back to first summer 2015, how to make Russian cola from an international student. This was a face-to-face course, but from a topic selection perspective, notice the design consistency all the way through on putting the speech together, making it attractive. Most importantly, how can you take this and utilize it in such a fashion where you're going to remain conversational and extemporaneous? So kvass, KVAS in Russia, is basically a very, very weak alcoholic beverage that's similar to beer. There's a link to show you, like Wasadza, how it's made. The bullet points allow you to talk as much or as little extemporaneously about the subject as you would wish. And then we'll scroll back up to the top. And from this point, what I want to show you are three different demonstrative presentations. So now let's go to something that's available on my YouTube channel. We will unmute the audio. This is Sarah Hillis. During the fall intersession of 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, she wants to give a demonstrative speech how to make a shirt using heat transfer vinyl. Notice how creative Sarah is by utilizing not only her own experience, but taking video and putting it in the presentation itself. She's got her timer for Loom right here. She decides to keep the bottom left-hand corner of the screen for her webcam, and that's how she's got the entire presentation ready. Let's go ahead and watch this. Go full screen. Here it is. What you notice about the presentation from Sarah is that she put a lot of time and effort into it. She is extremely conversational, which means that she has practiced this a lot. And let me mute this. Just go back to any random point and play it. You'll notice how she very cleverly is activating video and playing it within the context of her slide to let people visualize what the process of the heat vinyl transfer is all about, including at the end where you can see the final product. Again, with playing video in real time. So whether it is cooking or crafting or whatever the presentation is, having that final product really allows you to have source credibility as a speaker. That was from fall intercession of 2020. Now let me show you a second example, which was also during the pandemic. This is from spring of 2021. And what Madison decided to do was to demonstrate the process of how to babysit. So you can literally take any topic and make it demonstrative depending upon what your personal experiences are and how you can create a quality story with your images and your text. In Sarah's case, she was about 5.5 minutes. Madison is a little bit over 7. And here it is. And that is the end of her presentation. Oftentimes, what I do with your speeches and others is to mute the audio, go to a particular place, which doesn't really matter, on a person's completed speech, play it, and see whether or not they are being expressive in the webcam and are speaking in a complete sentence structure. What you notice from Madison is obviously she has incorporated a ring light because there aren't any shadows. It's not dark. It's easy to see her. And by placing closed captioning on, you can tell that, like what we just saw with Sarah and the heat transfer vinyl demonstrative speech, she is speaking not only in a complete sentence structure, but has very few breaks in thought, where each of these ladies' deliveries are coming across as relatively smooth, professional, confident, which is apparent whenever you take into account the fact that the more you practice, the smoother you're going to be, the more confident you're going to be, and that is the impression that you're going to want to have with your classmates. So let's go ahead and pause this, take the closed captioning off, and show you one final demonstrative speech. In this case, it was from 2 years ago. Like what you just saw, this presentation is a little over 7 minutes. The topic is how to properly vaccinate your dog at home. This is from Chloe Ray, and she does a really nice job of demonstrating the process of vaccinating your dog, because whether you have animals of any stripe, they are going to be very susceptible to illness, to challenges with worms or heart issues. And in Chloe's case, she's coming at this from a very personal perspective. Our third and final demonstrative speech of the day from years gone by, all are available on my YouTube channel, with the topic being how to properly vaccinate your dog at home. And that is the end of her speech. The reason that I wanted to show you Chloe's presentation is not only because it's very good. I don't think she is using Loom technology. I think she wound up using another type of platform because, as you can see, she doesn't have a round webcam. I'm not sure what the platform is. I could go back into my Yahoo email archives and double check. But as we've been doing with everybody else, and you can do this yourself, put her on mute, closed captioning, go to any point in the speech and see whether or not she is giving her presentation in a complete sentence structure on a demonstrative basis. She has a vested interest in this because she wants to go into veterinary care as a career, cares very much about animals. And I like with all of her slides, there is a logical progression to the way they are set up. They are extremely neat, which gives you the opportunity whenever you're practicing to either talk about all of this third step or all of the fourth step or bits and pieces. So in her case, because in these two instances, she has a complete sentence structure, she can talk about it a little bit more, a little bit less, incorporate or not personal examples. If I wanted to be really nitpicky, I would say she probably needs to move her webcam in such a way that we don't see the overhead fan, but that's a small thing. You will notice that she's being creative going from one slide to the next. She's usually moving, like there, where her webcam is located. It's not something that I would do, but as long as it's not really calling attention to itself in terms of being sloppy, it's not a problem. But look on the bottom, and you notice she did drop a y'all in there. She uses her own dog as an example of how the vaccination process works. So those are three examples, one from the fall intersession of 2020 from Sarah with the heat vinyl transfer process, from the spring of 21 with Madison on how to properly babysit, and then in this case 2 years ago from Chloe on how to properly vaccinate your dog at home. And if you want to see even more examples, keep in mind as I go to my YouTube channel, I already have on this playlist for radio, TV, speech, and media examples, scroll down to the point where I have representative examples going back to fall of 2020 for demonstrative speeches. You see fall of 2020, fall intercession of 2020, including Sarah, spring of 2021, including Madison, summer 2021, and by the way, that's Essence, summer of 2022, summer of 2023 with Chloe, and then we get into the DIY slime speech, which I showed you again today with audio, and then the handmade felty that was shown last week. So let's wrap up for the day by returning to me at the student preview mode on Blackboard. And I'll do it in such a way where whenever you eventually click on Blackboard, this is what you see. So as you're practicing, keep in mind, just come down here for the course syllabus, and then remember what the assignment is, the course itinerary, the course speech schedule, which I showed you, the checklist, how to record on Loom, and then session 5 is going to be posted right here. But let me go back to the course speech schedule. which is what I was telling you about yesterday, making it slightly bigger, and reminding you that of the folks who are in this class, I'll probably have a little bit more time tomorrow rather than on Thursday. My experience in the past, because you're not assigned to a particular day, most of you will probably wait until Thursday before 2 p.m. to send me the links to your speeches. Keep in mind that, like me right now, you're not recording in front of an audience, you're recording by yourself at a webcam. Speech videos or links to videos need to be sent to me before 2 p.m. On the days when we have recorded speeches, I am probably going to wait until after 2 p.m. to begin the instructor course video. Tomorrow for day 1 of demonstrative speeches, and then Thursday for day 2. But please make certain that when you go to your sent file in your email, that you have provided the link. Occasionally, people will send me an email but not provide the link, either to saumag.edu or to my Yahoo email address. So it will be fascinating tomorrow to see how many people are sending me materials for their demonstrative speeches, whether it's Loom or on another platform. I will fill the time no matter what, even if I'm showing you more demonstrative speeches from years gone by, or possibly even on Thursday, getting into a little bit of informative speaking, which comes up next week. We will continue tomorrow with demonstrative speeches day 1. Good luck. And like I said, go to your sent email file to make certain that you've sent me the link, and that when you send me that link, you can actually go there, click on it, and it shows up on the screen. Because as you can see from what I have shown you over the past couple of weeks, not only do I save everything, but I incorporate all of these videos to help you learn. So watch all of the videos that are available on my YouTube channel, or watch them here on Blackboard. Bits and pieces are okay. How are people putting their presentations together? You can mimic something or not, but what's going to maximize your ability to tell the story? How you are going step by step through the cooking or crafting or whatever the process may be. We will resume tomorrow with demonstrative speeches, and you guys are the stars, so it'll be fascinating to see what you come up with for the rest of the week. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking for the first summer session of 2025, that concludes the recording session for today.